Hello and welcome to my presentation. Today I'll be presenting a case study as a part of my 82, which is a course subject ECN 736. My name is Chaudhry Hussain. I often use my last name Hussain because that's easy. The case study, the case study I'm going to present, it is about Unit 3, Managing Business. This is one of the popular subject in VC. Students who are doing business, they often do it. Even students who are not doing business, they often take that subject as well. So unit 3 is managing a business. In this unit, what student does, they basically explore the key process and the consideration for managing business efficiently and effectively. Now, what a student does, they generally examine different type of business and their objectives and stakeholders. What student also involved in investigating strategies to manage both staff and business operations to meet objectives and develop an understanding of the complexity and challenge of managing business. In this course also include students compare theoretical perspective with the current practice through the use of contemporary Australian and global business studies from past 4 years. This unit has got several area of study. We picked up area of study 1, which is the business foundation. And this business foundation introduces students to the key characteristics of business and their stakeholders. Students investigate potential conflict between the different demands of stakeholders on a business. They also examine the corporate cultures and range of management styles and management skills that may be used when managing a business. And definitely they apply those to contemporary business case studies. And in study 1 has got several outcomes. We picked up outcome 1, and which is basically looking at the capacity of students to analyze the key characteristics of business, their stakeholders, management style and skills, and corporate cultures. I have picked up Manor Lake School, which is called Manor Lake Senior College, because this is the only college I have ever had an opportunity to my placement last term. I am not doing any PTT at this moment. Now, interestingly, this Manor Lake P12 college is quite massive in terms of number. As you can see, it has, in fact, when I was working there, it has more than 3,000 students. Cohort is very diverse, in terms of ethnicity, language, religions. One of the important things to note that majority of the students come from a predominantly low socio-economic background. Now that tells me we need to talk a little bit of the socio-demographic picture or profile of Manor Lake. If you look at the further down here, what we can see is only 15% population under high income, nearly 30% is in low income group. Okay, so that's very important to note. Another important thing in the second box we can see, and I definitely put emphasize, nearly 40% of the population is around age 15 or below, and 30% has got no qualification, and nearly 40% people in Manor Lake with a bachelor or higher degree in qualification. This statistics is back in 2021. So what we can see, we got a equal number of nearly 40% people there under age of 15, and also nearly 40% people has got a bachelor degree, which is really a good case for an university areas. Among the half of the residents are working, among them nearly 28% professionals, 13% administrative workers, and 11% in the community service work. Now let's look at in the study design of this business goals, what learning activities and assignment they have. What we will find out, business management study design has got 18 examples of learning activities, and these are the activities we're going to do analysis in this case. It has also one detailed example of learning activities. It covers around 10 knowledge areas and trying to develop 4 key skills. On the assessment task, it has got case studies, structured questionnaires, an essay, a report, and media analysis, which is pretty much traditional, I would say. And we're going to look at that in this case study as well. Now, for any study design or any case to analyze, we need a framework. So for this purpose, I decided to develop a framework preliminary based on Victoria Curriculum and Assessment Authority's Applied Learning 5 Pillars model, which has got motivation to engage learnings and applied learnings and all these 5 pillars. However, to extend this model, I also decided to use 5 popular applied learnings and related theories, which is inquiry-based learning, by doing, by Dewey. I also decided to use social constructivisms. We're going to look at how it fits with the Piaget's cognitivism theories and Barner's discovery learning. And finally, we also try to see how much of this business management study design fits with the experiential learning model as suggested by Kolb. The first pillar that we're going to look at is the motivation to engage in learning, how this learning design is motivating students to get engaged. Now, it has 3 criteria, and when we look at that, the first criteria, which is basically connecting classroom learners to the real world scenarios and experience, is comprehensively covered, because the reason I say they got activities where students will be interviewing the local business peoples, they're going to have excursions and incursions where they're going to meet local business peoples, and that's a quite effective and practical way that you meet with the local business people. However, when we look at the engagement of the students in the activity and problem solving in various educational settings, I would say that's partially covers, because they have some ice-breaking activities where they generate, develop business ideas, try to find out other possibilities like puzzles and things. But the gap is there. What is the gap? Is not sure how it's going to cover different educational settings, and it's been left as a dilemma for the teachers, in my opinion. Do the study design challenge their competency level to support success and self-efficacy? We try to look at the assessment guidelines. There are some detailed examples, a couple of them, which do some competencies, but I would think it's partially covers, because it doesn't cater for individual learnings or differential learnings. It's only very standard. That could be a major weakness. Now let's look at the next pillar, which is application of applied learning practices. Because we are a little bit running out of time, I'm going to group it first 2 categories in one group, where whether they are doing learning cycle of doing and authentic materials are used or not, and the rest 3 will be second group. In the first group, I see they are partially covered. The reason I said they have been using current newspaper articles, which is a real life everyday matters, and they have some daily life can you make the better process, where they look at take at the real business cases and try to improve. The reason I say this partially covers, because one key important thing is missing, which is community members engagement. Students doesn't get any opportunity where they can learn from community members' experience and knowledge. Now let's look at the second group of criteria, the last 3 one, where the real life task incorporations, use of visual and using the tech language in context. Yes, I think they are covered, because they're going to use some TED Talks, which is very commonly used business issues. They are going to develop a key business areas, and which is most commonly used to give them with the appropriate technological connection with the outside world. Now, the important pillar is student agency in learning. I think this is the where this current business management study design needs a significant improvement. If you look at first three criteria where students' engagement or dialogue about their own curriculum is not being covered at all. There's no evidence that it fosters independence and responsibility in learning process. Neither there is any opportunity where that encourages collaboration, sharing knowledge, valuing students' approaches to learning. However, when it comes to the interaction between them, yes, there are some group works. They are using technologies because they have a TED Talks. Are they actively participating in the learning process? Yes, because they're going to have some class debate and decision-making things, like, for example, how they will do the business, how the funding will be done. Now, I'm running out of time. I got only 14 minutes. So let's look at student-centered and flexible approach. Yes, this is where this study design needs to work on. As you can see, the criteria 2 and 3, which is more about personalizing the learning, understanding each student, putting the differential learning, is not been there. Yes, there are some teaching context relevant to their background. There has some attempt to do the local community. For example, business owners might come and do the business. However, how this partnership will take place is not been clear. So is again, it depends on the individual teachers how they're gonna implement it. Now, the final pillar was the assessment practice which promotes success. This is where this current study design of business management needs to work on. They only have case studies, structure questionnaires, which is quite traditional. However, there is need for assessment method that fits the context and allow for incremental indication of the success. It is not there. Does it has any options that a student can have an opportunity to, a multiple opportunity for success and assessment? Nothing been said. It's quite important. So this will be my focus in my concluding slides. Let's have a quick look how this current study design match with other theoretical frameworks. Well, it does cover with the inquiry learning by doing of Dewey and some form of social constructivisms. Cognitivism partially covers, not really thoroughly. Where it is lacking is the discovery learning and experiential learning. This is somewhere they really need to put a focus and develop in that line. So how this course could be making more, can get more effective strategy and how to ways to implement. They need to focus on the areas of gap that we have identified. They need to increase engaging students in dialogue about the curriculum. They might integrate and apply the key knowledge and discuss with them. They need to improve first in independence and responsibility learning. For example, in applied learning VCVM, they have things like students select and a community engagement project and they work on it. They need to encourage collaboration and sharing knowledge, value of the students. They might again go back to VCVM areas where they have problem solving process, where students as a team does most of the job. In the assessment, they need more formative assessment where teacher can make the adjustment to the things, adjustment to the assessment evidence. The student can receive the feedback and improve. They need to offer multiple opportunity for success, not just standard one. That could be videos, that could be podcast, that could be other areas. My alarm says I finished my 14 minutes, so I really need to rush because I was told if it's 17 minutes, audience will get sleep. On the theoretical side, they really need some practical things. What? They could be complete entrepreneur project or may involve in a short-term internship so that they can learn from the experiential learning. Well, those are the references of the materials that I've been using here. That's me. I thought towards the end I must introduce myself. Personally, when I get involved in teaching, I really like to see the faces. I really like to meet people's, otherwise it looks like one-way radio. Thanks for watching. There are a lot of things I wanted to say, but time doesn't apply. Thanks for your time. I hope you enjoy, and thank you again.